Yo, welcome back. Episode 22 of the Splat Sports Podcast. The boys are all here. Pretty good week for Hunt McCoe. Pretty good start of the week. Monday was a great night, great Monday Night Raw, and on top of that, we're going to jump into it. The NBA Finals concluded with the Boston Celtics winning banner 18. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they finally did it when everybody said, oh, they're not going to do it. I listen. I said it from the get-go this year. This is the Celtics' year. I had a little fear when I saw that we were playing the Heat first round. Swept them. Not really. No, we did sweep them. Second round, played Cleveland. Got a little scary. Pacers, we swept them. All right, some of you all say Mickey Mouse playoff run. No, it's not. No, it's not. If it was a Mickey Mouse playoff run, what are we supposed to do? Lose? No, we win. That's all we do in Titletown, aka Boston. I don't call it that. That's just the name it's gotten recently, allegedly. And then you play the Mavericks, who I thought the Mavericks would give a better fight. We'll talk about the Mavericks absolutely being trash. But Giros, your thoughts on the finals so far? Thoughts on the finals?
Yeah, first off, I am bummed the Celtics won, but I was right that they would win in five, so I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, I think the Celtics dominated the series overall outside of Game 4. I just think that they played great together. Hunter said earlier that none of their players won a huge award outside of Finals MVP, obviously in-season awards. I guess so that shows how good this team really was. Like Hunter said, you can say they had an easy road with each team's star players being out. But at the end of the day, you gotta give credit for Boston to, keeping their head on straight and just persevering and winning it.
Barrett?
Yeah, I mean it's very hard to win an NBA Finals. The way the playoffs are set up with the best of seven series, it kind of eliminates like a March Madness upset. So it's hard to win multiple games against the same team in a series. So all credit to the Boston Celtics. They had a great year. Congratulations to Jaylen Brown for winning Finals MVP.
Speaking of Finals MVP, a lot of people said who should have won it. A lot of players really could have won it for the Celtics. I think Jaylen Brown was the clear favorite. Jason Tatum played a great final game, Game 5. Probably one of his best playoff games statistically. Kristaps Porzingis had a great series. Then played Game 4, I believe, right? It's Game 3. It's either one. Drew Holiday if it wasn't Jaylen Brown, I probably would have said Drew Holiday just because he knocked Kyrie out of really playing in this series. Barrett, who do you think should have won the Finals MVP if not Jaylen Brown?
Yeah, I would have chosen Jaylen Brown as well. I think he did. He was their main person on offense the whole series, kind of carrying the weight offensively. But he's also contributing very much so on the defensive end with kind of trying to contain Luka Doncic as much as you can because it's pretty hard to do that. But I think he did a good job of not letting Luka explode for 40 points, 50 points like we've seen him do occasionally. So Jaylen Brown would have gotten my vote.
Yes.
I also agree with both of y'all. I think they got it right. Brown should win. Tatum played good, not as great as what he's capable of. But overall, Brown I think made the big moments when they needed him over Tatum. Tatum had a great Game 5 though. He played probably the best that game, but overall throughout the series, I think that Brown played the best all 5 games.
Juris talked about this team being one of the better teams in the NBA Finals. How do they compare to past NBA championship teams? I'd say they're pretty good. I don't think that they're going to beat the 2015, 2016 Warriors good. I don't think they're that good. I think they give them a run for their money. I mean, if you really look at how they play, I mean, it'd be a fun series, I would think. But Barrett, your kind of thoughts on how this team would stack up against past NBA Finals teams?
Yeah, obviously I'm a Warriors fan, so I'm a little biased here. So I don't think they're going to beat the Warriors. I think they could potentially contend with, maybe the Bucks who won it in 21. Last year, the Nuggets. I think that would be a very interesting series. So, I mean, I really feel like they can compete pretty much with any, somewhat relevant past finals winner. But, there's obviously going to be some matchups where they can't win. But I think for the most part, they're a very respectable champion who can kind of contend with anyone because they got a lot of different pieces.
Juris?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely think this was an above. I don't think they were necessarily a great NBA Finals champion team, but I certainly think they were above average in that scenario. I think that if you look over the past 5 years, we've had some good NBA champions. Like Barry said, I think they could contend with the Bucks. I would love to see a finals with this Celtics team and last year's Nuggets. I think that would be a great series. But overall, this was a great team. They deserve to win it, and yeah.
Now we look on the other side, the losing team, the Mavs. Who do you blame for this one? A lot of people saying Kyrie didn't play great besides game 4. A lot of people are pointing fingers at PJ Washington, Daniel Gafford for literally doing nothing, Derek Lively. At times it felt like it was just Luka out there. Luka got the emotions, got the best of him in game 3, and I really think it kind of affected him in game 5 where your back's up against the wall and you just kind of – it didn't look like he gave up, but Luka played horrendous defense if you watched him play defense throughout this entire series. Juris, who do you think is to blame for this?
I think there is a lot of blame to go around. I think every player has something to be at fault for. I do think the bench for me is the biggest because going on the road, I know Kyrie didn't play great at Boston, but like when something like happens, you need your bench to step up, especially on road games to, help carry load if the star player is off. So I think the bench, PJ Washington didn't play great. Tim Hardaway did close to nothing. Derek Lively had some moments where I thought he was playing good, but other than that, there wasn't really a ton that I liked from the bench. Jason Kidd had me confused. I feel like he didn't make a ton of adjustments at times. Like after game 1, the only thing I saw is he put in Tim Hardaway, and you saw where that got him. So I don't feel like he tried enough different things. Overall, though, Mavs have a lot of questions. I think finding out their roles. I mean, I hope that I just hope that the Mavs figure all this out, and I hope that they stay a contender.
They really had no depth, and like you said, there really wasn't a game plan adjustment. It kind of just seemed like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But it was broke, and I mean, you really didn't have any. And compared to the Celtics' depth, the Celtics have, I think it's one of the most underrated values of this team. They had so much depth on this team. I mean, you got Xavier Tillman coming off the bench. Sure, is he great? No, but he's an underrated player. I mean, he played great in Memphis. He played key final moments. I mean, Giros nods his head accordingly to that one. Barrett, you're kind of who do you blame for the Mavs right here?
Yeah, I think it's got to go to their kind of the supporting cast, like you said, PJ Washington, Derek Lively, Daniel Gafford, Tim Hardaway, people like that. Just because I feel like throughout the Timberwolves series, I felt like PJ Washington was really kind of one of the main reasons why the Mavericks won that series. Obviously Luka and Kyrie were doing their thing, but when there was a clutch bucket that kind of needed to be made, I feel like PJ Washington was kind of in the mix to hit one of his patented corner threes, which he's kind of become known for over the past couple of years. But I think just not having those role players to not necessarily be great, but just do their role like they're asked to do. Like the Celtics have a ton of people who do that. I think when your role players don't show up, it's really putting a lot of stress on Luka and Kyrie as well. I think that's part of the reason why Kyrie didn't perform as well. I think he was under a lot of pressure to make those plays due to his role players, not having the faith in them to make them.
Yeah, Kyrie very much could be the man to blame for this. I don't think it's all on Kyrie. I think like you said, it's on everybody really. Really, I think it's on Luka, even though he played great. If you want to be a superstar, you got to play like one, and at times he did not play like one. I'm going to be honest. He played horrendous defense, and I know defense is not necessarily a strong suit, but when you're in the finals and when you're in playoff games that matter the most, you got to play some defense.
He had the highest blow-by percentage in NBA Finals history. He has 60% chance of getting blown by.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's got it.
horrendous. But now we get the NBA off season. That starts soon. No, you're we're
Yeah.
gonna transition. We're gonna transition there. NBA off season. It's having fun, but another season. It's underway, really. MLB. Willie Mays tragically passed away today. Legend of the game, San Francisco Giants legend. 93, lived a very long life. Good for him. Legend of the game. Very sad to see him, you know, pass away. World Series champion, and I believe multiple times, right? I believe about, yeah, like, yeah, multiple times. Hall of Famer. Can't say much more. MLB The Show legend as well. So, I mean, always good to go down as that as well.
He's alive. He's alive in Cam Canarella right now. So
there he is. The Dodgers, though, they're banged up. Mookie Betts, fractured hand. Yamamoto, what I don't know is official.
It's rotator cuff, I think, is what they're saying.
Rotator cuff injury. They're falling apart mid-season. Not what you want to see for the Dodgers. Barrett, your kind of thoughts on your boys?
Yeah, obviously, you never want to see a player go down, just in general. But when it's kind of one of your team, and then on top of that, a star player on both sides, really for them. Hate to see it, especially for Yamamoto. I feel like he was really starting to find his groove after kind of having an adjustment period coming over to the MLB from Japan. Obviously, Mookie Betts getting hit in the hand, that's always going to be a tough injury to overcome. Drew Eldridge had it. It took him a while to get over it, so it's gonna take a minute for the Dodgers to get back. But hopefully, this will provide some other guys, some people who don't play every day, opportunity to come into the lineup, maybe prove something, provide something later on down the line in the postseason when we need them. So looking on the bright side, it's going to open up another rotation spot. Hopefully Gavin Stone maybe will step up into that role, who's been looking pretty good this year. Kershaw is coming back fairly soon. I know he's been throwing some simulated games, so he'll be back pretty soon, I think. So not like a total huge concern for the Dodgers, but obviously you don't want to see it.
Yep, a lot of guys coming back from injuries as well. Garrett Cole coming back Wednesday. It's probably already passed. He's gonna play the Orioles. Trey Turner also was elevated off the IL. So guys moving down in and off the ILs. Anthony Rizzo joined the IL, and I believe it's Ben Rice. I'm pretty sure. I'm 99% sure that's his name. It's probably not something like that. He's filling in for the Yankees. Yankees hot. But now we move over to the other New York team, the Mets. They had Grimace, the big purple man from McDonald's, throw out their first pitch about 7 games ago. The Mets have not lost a game. In fact, they are on fire. Congratulations. It's so awesome that that Grimace has replaced the Mets mascot. Like it's just happening on MLB Twitter. Like it's just Grimace instead of the Mets. If that goes to show you how bad the Mets are, come from a Yankees fan, but the Mets are bad. Drew, your kind of thoughts on the Mets hot streak? I know you said they're fourth in the division. They've won 7 straight, though. They are losing right now, though, so they could lose. Big podcast right here, which would be absolutely tragic. But your thoughts?
Yeah, good for the Mets, I guess. I guess Grimace, brought them alive. But I don't think this really says a ton. Everybody around the MLB assumes they will be selling at the deadline. Pete Alonso may be finding a new home. But I don't know. I feel like they're in a weird spot because Lindor obviously has a big deal. Alonso has, I think he's going to be a free agent soon. But overall, this is kind of, I think, the Mets' last ride with this group. I think they're going to sell at the deadline, get some prospects, maybe get some picks, and just try to ride out the year.
Yankees need a first baseman. It's not that far of a move for Pete Alonso, the polar bear. Going to be a bad deal for the Yankees, but I'm sure we'll get on to that another day. Now on to the next sport, the National Football Association. Trevor Lawrence becomes, I'm pretty sure the highest paid, no, not the highest paid quarterback, but one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, $275 million to be exact. Huge deal, franchise quarterback money. They kind of expected it. He hasn't done a whole lot in Jacksonville. He's played great in the regular season. He's led them to the playoffs, but hasn't shown up. Is this going to be another Dak Prescott situation for the Jaguars? G. Russ?
I think it is. When I look at franchise quarterback, my first thought is have they had playoff success. He did have that one comeback against the Chargers, but Brandon Staley was the head coach, so I don't really believe that much in that. This year they started off great. They were looking like one of the best teams in the league. They fell apart at the very end. The Texans, I think, got first. I think they came all the way back, and I think the Jaguars fell to a wild card. So yeah, I think Trevor Lawrence has the potential to do it, but so far I don't think that he's shown that he is a franchise quarterback. I think it will be another Dak situation.
If you look at who the Jaguars have brought in this offseason, they've given them basically the keys to the kingdom, as they say, the Magic Kingdom down there in Duvalville. But that's on paper, and paper burns. Barrett, your kind of thoughts on the Jaguars?
Yeah, I think they got a potential to be a pretty solid team this year. I think it kind of depends on how Trevor Lawrence plays, though. If he plays like the guy that they paid him the money to be, then I think they'll be pretty solid. But if he kind of turns into another Dak Prescott, I guess not having a lot of playoff success, you might be kind of shaking your head at this deal, wondering they should have either paid him less or gone in a different direction potentially. So I think this will be interesting to see how he kind of responds to getting paid. I think a lot of players in just sports in general kind of lose a chip on their shoulder, so to say, once they get paid a big contract. We saw it. My boy Jordan Poole happened to him, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out in Jacksonville.
Dak Prescott, his contract's also coming up soon. This resets the market as it always does. But another guy who has been in contract talks, he requested a trade from the Bengals, T. Higgins. He resigned, really got a franchise tag in reality. Good news for the Bengals. Now the Bengals, they're kind of in an industry spot. You got Jamar Chase and you got T. Higgins. It's really how are you going to make both happy and how are you going to keep both? I don't think that the Bengals are going to be able to keep both, but I do think that Jamar Chase is going to be the answer, like we talked about. I'm pretty sure last week we talked about with the Justin Jefferson deal. So that's the Bengals for you. Any thoughts on that, boys?
I do think that he wants to be the guy. I don't think he wants to sit behind Chase. I think I could see him getting traded to a place like Buffalo, maybe even LA, going to the Chargers where he could be the guy after Keenan Allen left. And I just think that he just wants. I don't think he's not getting what he wants, but I think trading him to a place where he can be the wide receiver one is what he wants, and I think that's what he'll get eventually.
So there you go. Now moving on to the NCAA college football world. We have some hot seat questions. The boys have all picked out a coach on the hot seat. Barrett, you're going to go first on this one. Barrett, who's your coach on the hot seat?
My coach on the hot seat is going to be Sam Pittman from Arkansas. Arkansas last year was I think some people kind of had them as a dark horse SEC West team who could potentially kind of make some noise down there, and they were just flat out terrible, to put it into words. They were not good. I'm trying to remember the name of their quarterback.
Jefferson.
KJ Jefferson.
KJ Jefferson.
He was supposed to be very good. Kind of had a mediocre year, and then transferred out to UCF, I believe.
Yes.
So they're going to have a new quarterback. I think this is kind of going to be a last shot for them to kind of make some noise in the revamped SEC with the new schedules and stuff. So I think Sam Pittman's going to have a pretty solid year to kind of keep his job down there in Arkansas.
Yeah, backup quarterback there, the new quarterback. Big step down from KJ Jefferson in my eyes. But interested to see what Sam Pittman kind of does there. He's hey, listen, he's an Arkansas guy through and through. G-Russ, your coach on the hot seat.
I'm gonna go with Ryan Day from the Ohio State. I think that I don't like he's kind of on the hot seat, but I don't think he will. I don't think he'll be getting like fired or anything if they do have a couple. But I do think like these Michigan losses are starting to add up. I think that this is his best chance to win. I think he'll have. He obviously had Caleb Downs transferring in there. We're going to get to him in a minute and his questionable decision, what he's doing with him. But I just think that if Ryan Day can't do it this year, I don't know if he ever will because they had a great transfer portal. Their team looks great on paper. The question is, can Ryan Day coach them to that point? And everybody probably agrees that he has not done the best job there. And I think that people are really getting tired of losing to their rival, Michigan. And I think that if not this year, he's on the hot seat. If he can't do it this year, he will definitely be on it next year.
Paper burns, what the saying is. My coach is going to be another Big Ten guy, new Big Ten arrival, UCLA's Chip Kelly. They said he was going to be let go at the end of the season last year. They decided to retain him for another year. Kind of confusing, in my opinion. Now you're at the point where he's been there a while. He, revolutionized the college game, yes, but also coaching the NFL. You're going into the Big Ten with a UCLA team that is not going to be very good. Let's be real here. UCLA, they're not good. They haven't been good in a while. Just what are you confused about?
You said Chip Kelly, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's the offense coordinator at Ohio State.
All right, pivot. I'm going to go with my boy. We're going to cut this.
I was like, I swear he said the offense coordinator job.
Yeah, they've
Charles
got
Edward.
They've got like a black coach now.
Yeah, they got like a former football player there. Charles Kelly is an American football coach who's the offensive coordinator of Ohio State.
I just could have swore they retained him. Anyway, all right. I'm going to start back at 22:30. My head coach that's on the hot seat is going to be Billy Napier of Florida. Listen, he can recruit. He's recruited well down in Florida. They've had a great transfer class. They also play the toughest SEC schedule. They also play the best teams in the SEC this year. Georgia, Tennessee. I'm pretty sure they play Alabama this year. I'm pretty sure they play Texas this year. If I'm not mistaken, they might play Oklahoma. Either way, they're not going to win. Florida plays a really, really tough schedule. And when you have a guy like Graham Mertz, who, yes, he proved that he can play in the SEC, can he beat some of these top teams like Alabama? He beat Tennessee, yeah, but it was in the swamp. Tennessee doesn't win in the swamp. It's proven fact. He's not going to beat Tennessee in England. He's just not going to happen. I think that this is Billy Napier's last year. If I'm not, if you're Florida, I feel like you're going to get tired of going 7-6 each year. Let's be honest, because that's what they're going to do. That's what Florida's going to be known for. But after my blunder of an absolute head coaching thing, you're going to see a weird cut in the video. Don't worry about it. Caleb Downs reported that he is possibly going to be playing running back for the Ohio State Buckeyes, like G. Russ said. Why the heck he would? Listen, he was listed as an athlete coming out as a recruit. He was an athlete at Alabama. Very interesting here. I feel like the Buckeyes don't need running back help. They have Quinshon Jenkins, the Ole Miss transfer. Why the heck do they need this, G. Russ? Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think this is crazy to say because a lot of people regarded Caleb Downs as one of the best talents from safety position in football this year. Certainly, I think he'll definitely be first team All-American, I think. And I think it's crazy. Like wide receiver, I could understand, I guess, but running back, where in the NFL it has the shortest lifespan, I think it's like 2 to 4 or 5 years, maybe. I just don't think that this is good for him. Wide receiver, I think, would obviously be the best choice, but I think running back is just kind of insane for uh, for one of the most talented players to be doing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I saw that post on Instagram, is where we saw it. I think what they're planning to do is not really use him full time, but maybe in like a couple packages, big plays where they need their best athlete with the ball in his hands. Yeah, okay, sure. I think I'll be interested to see, the workload. Do they manage him like Colorado does with Travis Hunter and basically play him the whole game? Or do, we said, use him in specific packages and him be a safety first and then an occasional running back, which is I think is going to happen. So I think, it is what it is. I guess it's kind of interesting, but I think he'll be a safety first and then a running back later.
Speaking of Colorado, we're going off topic here. Speaking of Colorado, I don't know if you saw the reports, but allegedly Deion Sanders was forcing his players to go to a Lil Wayne concert where Shadur Sanders was performing. My gosh, those players' ears must be burning after Shadur Sanders' absolutely phenomenal performance. Allegedly. That's all allegedly, apparently, but that's just the stories that come out of Boulder, Colorado each day. Deion ain't going to last there much longer either. He probably should have been on the hot seat list. Anyway, let's jump to the College World Series. It's been exciting. First 3 games of the College World Series, all walk-offs, including the Tennessee Volunteers. They hit Dylan Dreiling hit a massive walk-off against the Florida State Seminoles. They play them tomorrow on Wednesday. Kentucky and Florida play tonight at the time of recording. They play tomorrow. They play tomorrow because of rain in Omaha. Loser goes home. That's what happens. And the winner faces Texas A&M, I'm pretty sure, right? Yep, Texas A&M. North Carolina, Virginia, NC State. I feel like there's one more, maybe. No. They're all eliminated. So now ACC teams are now dwindling while the SEC seems to be thriving in Omaha like they usually do. The games are fun, great pitching. I think a lot of people say that Omaha is definitely a pitcher-friendly park. It has not been proven that this weekend. The bats have been on fire for most teams, if not all of them, besides like
Kentucky.
besides Kentucky. Kentucky could lose. It's first time being in Omaha. It's big stage for them. They're not used to big stages down up in Lexington, so you gotta get used to it. Sorry about it. G-Russ, your thoughts on the College World Series?
Yeah, I think the first round games were great. Like you said, 3 walk-offs has been very exciting. I picked Tennessee to win, as all Tennessee fans did against FSU. We did get a little nervous there, got down early, but it did show that the bats will continue to prevail even in a pitcher-friendly ballpark like that. And yeah, I think that showed that Tennessee is very confident they can win it now, especially overcoming that. They are going to play FSU, so I think that'll be a very interesting game to see if the pitching is much better. FSU is struggling on that side. They pitched their main pitchers the past couple of days, and yeah, I think that'll be a great game overall. And I still think Tennessee will win.
Barrett, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Grant. Pitching, I think, in these next couple of games is what's going to win a team, like their games. I think at this point, especially if you've lost a game, it really just depends on how deep your bullpen is and how much you trust. Some of those fringe, maybe potential like midweek guys are going to have to step up and throw some really important innings because your aces can't go right now. They're on short rest. Your second guys can't go. You probably burned your third guy in this past game. So I think it does play an advantage to teams like Tennessee and Texas A&M who haven't lost. Tennessee and A&M both, can still throw their like Sunday starters in a weekend series. So Xander Seagrass will be on the mound for the Vols tomorrow at this time recording. But I think, just pitching is going to be key. And then if you can provide some offense, just, 5 or 6 runs, I think that's what's going to win you the national championship.
There you go. That's the College World Series. And we're going to finish up with some golf action. The U.S. Open, Bryson DeChambeau, finally, He was due for a win. Gets his win at Pinehurst #2 at the U.S. Open. I already said that. Don't know why I repeated myself. After Rory McIlroy, absolute choke job. Holy cow. Missed 3 putts inside, I think, 4 feet? Something like that.
2 putts inside 3 feet on
Dog.
16, 18.
Listen, I know I'm not the best golfer. But 3 feet? Come on now.
Hunter,
Come on
you
now,
4
Roy.
putt from 3 feet.
Come on now, Roy. Rory has not won one in 10 years, pretty sure. Not won a major in 10 years. This looks rough. DeChambeau, though, happy for him. When we say he was due for one, he was legit due for one. I've kind of said, hey, he's a choke artist. Yes, but glad he finally got his win. He is off the Team USA golf roster, though. A little questionable there. I'm pretty sure it's because of age. I'm 99% sure it's because of his age. Anyway, or not. G-Rest, your thoughts on U.S. Open?
Yeah, certainly DeChambeau, like Hunter said, was due. It is interesting. He is the first player to win it in I think over a decade that shot over par. So that's really interesting. But like I said, he was due. I like him a lot. Rory, it sucks for him. He's taken a few weeks off. He missed those big putts, but I'm not a big Rory guy, so I'm happy DeChambeau won. I like DeChambeau a lot. Scheffler struggled mightily. I think first time in a long time he shot 4 straight rounds over par, which is kind of insane. The heavy favorite coming into this, but yeah, overall props to Bryson. He played great. He put 4 rounds of golf together for his second major win.
Pinehurst also one of the toughest courses to play. I don't think that you understand how tough the greens are. So even though Roy did miss the 2, a lot of people are saying the divorce, they're back together. Listen, Roy, he's taking some time off. Got to work some things behind the scenes. Roy will be back. Like G-Rest said, he's not a big fan. I'm not either. But here we are, and that is episode 22 for the Splat Sports Network. Jesus loves you. I don't think that we have anything else. We do not. We'll see you whenever this episode comes out, and then we're probably going to record on Friday because something will happen because the sports world's always moving. So there you go. Jesus loves you yet again. Any final thoughts, boys? Nope. Synchronized head nod. We will see you all later. Peace out. Bye.